it certainly ruined my night last night.
Ruined.
Yeah.
Ruined.
That's a lot.
I was just about to fall asleep, and
You had to jerk off after seeing that?
I couldn't. Was the problem. It ruined everything.
Couldn't.
Yeah, couldn't.
Come on, couldn't.
Brandon, if you push me, I will show it to you. You probably don't.
I don't. I'm okay. I promise.
Brandon, your studio looks so professional.
Yeah, is that soundproof wall board there? What is that?
Well, he's got like the fade behind it.
I do that so they can't scream. Yeah, apparently I was playing around with the functions of this new app or a new studio, I guess, that we're using here, Tyler. And there's a blur function. Makes me stand out more because that's what I need.
I have played around with it, not even slightly. I really should mess around with it.
There's a blur background. There's a brick.
I know the problem.
Wall
Tyler.
background.
I open this in Safari and not Chrome.
Ah.
Should I back out and go back in, or is this going to work?
I'm in Chrome.
You're fine.
Chrome.
Okay, as long as I'm fine. That's probably why I don't have all those functions. But
True.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? In that case, just fucking log out and log back in.
There you go. There you go. You got the brick. No, that brick wall. I was thinking about doing that. I kind of like the brick wall, but then I thought my background's pretty shit hot. Let me do the blur. And then it's mirror. So the mirror function works pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of pictures that are funny, so I'm just going to stick with the blur, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how the hell have you guys been?
Man, right? Like I kind of miss you guys. Shit.
It's been a minute.
I don't even know
I live fucking 15 minutes from Tyler. I haven't seen him in a couple months, but I haven't seen you guys in forever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm not happy about it.
Me neither.
I gotta tell you.
I'm still in Safari. Sorry. Let's just go with this.
Yeah, no, we're good. So basically, since nobody's furloughed anymore, this whole Furlough Friday title may be obsolete, but maybe not, depending on Omicron does.
Oh yeah.
But I was looking at an old clip when Chris was discussing whipping his wiener out at his Academy yearbook. And then
allegedly.
Well, no, it was. There was video. There was.
It's pretty
evidence.
At this point,
forensic evidence. And so
Yeah, prove that's his dick. What are we, dick detectives over here? Yeah, no, you don't know whose dick that is. Could be anyone's dick.
True. Yeah.
I didn't touch it.
It could be growing out the back of my neck, right? A fleshy appendage.
Here we go.
That's an inside joke. But yeah, I'm like, let's do this again because it's fun. Because just like you guys said, we haven't seen each other in months at the minimum.
Long time.
So yeah, this long. Yep. It's been so long. I've been getting gray.
It's impressive.
Man,
it's like
really
Santa
is.
Claus met a serial killer and they hung out and had a baby.
Meets a biker, meets big fat teddy bear.
Ooh, man, you had to throw fat in there. Tyler, I feel offended for you.
Thanks.
I don't think he's fat anymore.
I noticed
fat?
the text said 02, but what's the count on episodes?
We're gonna label this one as 40.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we haven't done one in 9 months. I don't think we've uploaded anything in like 9 months. So basically,
you should have told me.
2020.
I would have.
What's that?
You would have what?
Edward 40 hands.
I would have gotten some Mickey's or something.
Oh, that would have been smart. Should have thought about that.
Tyler, let's call this 39. Let's do another one like in a couple weeks and call that one 40.
We can do whatever we want. We could do like episode 44 in memory of episode 40.
But we could all have 440s.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We don't stop until 440s are gone.
That would be a lot.
Well, maybe Yeah, one each, but still, yeah.
Are we
And then
talking
we could, like,
Schlitz, Colt? What are we doing?
We could do clips of when we start versus the conversation when we finish, and just watch how we diminish dramatically over that period of time.
Yeah, there's a podcast I used to, or it wasn't even a podcast. It was like a YouTube guy that just started killing it. It was called something. It was called something with wine in it, and he would start the thing with a bottle of wine, and he would dump it into this big wine glass. And by the end of his clip, he'd be hammered, and he's witty, he's funny as shit. He would
I
just
saw that one.
just crushing people about like the daily news or whatever.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
what was
Like,
that called?
Drunk History had that idea too,
Oh, so
where
yeah.
it just
Yeah.
get people housed. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Drunk
great.
History is
It
so
was fun.
funny. Actually, they made a Comedy Central show out of Drunk History. It was so good.
Almost ruined it, but yeah, they did it
Yeah.
well. But I kind of liked it when it was more a little.
Agreed. Well, they got
Of
like
course.
more like wild with it. Yeah.
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 I remember.
Hey,
Like 20 years ago, there was the Man Show, right, with Adam Carolla.
Oh, yeah.
Back when Jimmy Kimmel was cool. But they found this one guy at a bowling alley, and he swore to God that he got better when the drunker he got. So they got like a semi-pro bowler, and then this guy, and they were squared off, right? And the guy started knocking back rolling rocks, and by the end, like I'm sure there's some magic of television there, but by the end, he was crushing this semi-pro bowler. And he was crushed himself, and the pro was so pissed. He was taking his wrist thing off and throwing it, and in the end, they showed the table of all the empty fallen soldiers, and there had to have been 12 of them. It was awesome.
Oh my God.
God.
That's great.
Do you know that the highest paid pro bowler still only makes like $70,000 a year?
Man.
No way.
Yeah,
just from
yeah.
the purse,
And
but
that's-
not from endorsements.
Sponsorships, yeah, but like their official like payday from
Yeah.
all the way to ball is like under not even 6 figures. The best in the world.
Well, yeah, but
No.
it's bowling. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a quote from I think it was a basketball player, and I can't remember who it was. I can't believe it didn't draw more attention, but it was basically like the effect of it was, to paraphrase, this past year of playing in empty arenas has given real perspective on women's sports, because they always play in empty arenas. I'm like, he may have meant it well, but the way it came off, I'm like, oh.
Hey, so this is a good segue. This is a good segue into nil,
That's fucking great.
Nil?
where college athletes can be paid for their likeness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
You know, and like that. What's that?
It's going to change everything.
It already has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig
Right
it.
now, it's like Brady's endorsing a handful of premier athletes or whatever. But I think this bids well for like the swimmer, or maybe the male cheerleader at the academy or whatever. It's like
What would we possibly endorse?
Krista,
Pom-pom? Megaphone?
you want to chime in on that one?
What brand of megaphone do you usually buy, Tyler?
No. It'd be like, when I'm on the road getting laid by strangers as a male cheerleader, I use Magnum condoms, for my Magnum dong. Yeah.
Magnum dong.
So, wow. I didn't know where to go with that one. That was
No reference, right? But
Yeah.
still.
Always funny.
naturally. That's funny.
So, Tyler, back to what we were saying before. You did not get COVID tested. Do you think you had COVID? I was COVID negative today, like a loser.
So I don't know.
Real worried about it, too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had COVID July of 2020, and then I've been feeling under the weather this week. I went to get tested this morning at a county center that opens at 9. I drove by at like 8:40, and there was probably 500 people standing outside loitering the building with like
No.
it looked like The Walking Dead was just everyone was walking to this building from all directions. I'm like,
Perfect place to get COVID.
yeah. I'm like,
Exactly.
what the hell, man? What are we
So-
doing?
yeah. So I did not get tested. I don't know if I have it.
What will you do with that information anyway? Like, do you have anything coming up that you?
No, the only reason I wanted to know is because what's his name? I don't know if you heard the podcast on Rogan, Dr. Peter McCullough or whatever.
McCullough, I
He's
did.
like,
Very
McCullough.
controversial.
Yeah.
And so
I listened to the
he's
whole
like-
thing. It's great.
Me too.
he's like the most published cardiologist.
What,
for
650
COVID.
publications or something? This guy's
He
nuts.
claims to be the
It's all over
most
the place.
published COVID doctor. That's his claim to fame.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some of the stuff he said
So
was pretty controversial.
he basically
Twice
said
COVID being bit of it. Yeah.
he basically said that if you've had COVID before, the chance of like I don't remember the exact number, maybe 1 in 70 million or
He basically
whatever,
said you
get it
can't get it
twice.
again.
Yeah, like chicken
He
pox.
said everybody who's ever claimed they had COVID twice was a false positive, or they actually didn't get tested and they don't know. They could just had a cold.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to challenge that, just a party of one over here, but then waiting in line 2 hours to challenge it, I didn't really care enough. So
Yeah, I mean that was one of the more controversial things he said. Like, because as soon as I brought that up to other people, like I know so and so, but does he have 2 tests? Can he prove it? They're like, no, he thinks he had it. I mean, yeah.
Yep. So
And that's the argument, though, too.
That's the reason why that I want to get tested. No other reason.
Maybe you're.
What do you think about his comments? Do you not agree?
I have no opinion on them.
Yeah.
I would tend to believe that, it would make sense considering, how viruses tend to work. I'm not a doctor or a virologist, so I don't really know. But yeah, I haven't. You compare the conversation with him versus the conversation with Sanjay Gupta on the Rogan show, and
That guy's an
it seems
entertainer.
like
He's-
it seems like McCullough had more credibility. So honestly, I don't
But
really care if you. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about this is that you don't know where to go, and it leaves guys like us, people that aren't doctors and all that, looking for guidance. And you got all these high-level doctors telling you completely different shit, and we're 2 years into this. 2 years into this, and we can't get our shit together. And you
Dude,
have
I couldn't get
companies. You can't get tested.
7 days.
I mean, you're getting them sent. I mean, right, Chris? You're getting them sent from your company through the mail because we can't find them at the local CVS or.
I've never had
crazy.
COVID before. Most likely, I mean, everything I read about Omicron and this variant, I had it starting on the 23rd, and I couldn't get a test till to today. So everything that said that 5 days after your first symptoms, you're probably going to test negative anyway. The only reason I even cared is because I'm trying to get fucking paid off time of work where it doesn't burn into my sick bank. Otherwise, I could give a shit. I mean, my symptoms were mild, like a mild cold. I was vaccinated, all that shit. But I mean, nobody. And now all of a sudden, the CDC says it's 5 days. Isolation is 2 years in.
Yeah.
What are we learning now?
Now it's 5 days.
I don't know.
Well, and that's if you're vaccinated, or if you're asymptomatic or symptomatic, like all this stuff. You need a flow chart, a matrix to figure out: do I go to work or do I leave my house?
Incidentally enough, I pulled up the CDC website because I'd heard rumors that they changed the quarantine period from 10 days to 5.
Okay.
And then I also heard the quote unquote conspiracy theories that the CDC changed it because Delta was.
Did you see that? Delta asked.
Yeah. Well, and I know that they asked. I don't know that the CDC changed because of Delta, but they did.
They don't have that kind of pull.
Or you'd be surprised.
Yeah. So.
Well, what about this? What about this one? Where what's the little leprechauns? Fauci is talking about making it mandatory that you be vaccinated to travel domestically.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
But the fact that the gall to even suggest a thing, and it's gained a little traction, but I'm assuming the airlines are going to be like, I'm gonna need you to sit down and color.
That's
that is.
That'll put them out of business.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I heard about it, and right now I think nationwide the vaccination rate's like 70%. You're talking about cutting 30% off of their passenger base. Well, our profit margins aren't that high. You cut the whole thing down to nothing right there. The government's going to be subsidizing the airlines from.
They'd have to. They'd have to.
Yeah. Air Italia
at that point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Over the last few years, for sure.
And do we not want that a little bit? I mean, remember that was back some Pan Am days. Those are Braniff days. They were living large.
I could do a 7-day layover in Guam. I can handle that.
but I
It's
don't know.
troubling to me that when things get rough, there are people in the country that maybe it's how they were brought up. They look up for obedience. They want somebody to be in charge and tell them what to do. And
Isn't that amazing?
That was specifically avoided when we set up this. Not we, but when they set up this country as a representative democracy. It's not supposed to be an autocracy. It's not supposed to be one person calling all the shots and everyone looking. There's the diversity and the difference in opinion. That's what makes it work, But when the going gets tough, people are now, there's a crop of people that are just looking up saying, okay, boss, what's next?
Yeah.
Well, and what's funny is it's the people who are doing that are the people who 40 years ago were the people saying, don't trust anyone over 30. I don't listen to anything the government tells me to do. I live my own life. They were breaking every drug law, being hippies, hitchhiking across the country. Now these aging hippies in Vermont and California are saying, well, the government says you have to get boosted as soon as you hit 6 months. Otherwise you can't eat in a restaurant. And they're cool with that. Like, what?
That's a great point. That's a great observation.
Over all else. Over common sense, over anything else, over democracy, obedience is number one.
Yeah, you don't think you should question the government even a little? Like, I have friends that I consider intelligent human beings that are literally like, no, I don't question them at all anymore. I'm like, have you not worked for the government?
You not see
how incompetent they are at the most basic shit, let alone running something that affects the entire nation? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Dude, that's scary. When we're go ahead.
I was just going to say, here's the new COVID updates or the new COVID guidance. But yeah, Brandon, you can continue what you were saying. But it kind of shows you what it was. You were discussing the quote unquote chart based on whatever.
The flow chart. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you been boosted? No. Then go get boosted and pay Pfizer. Completed primary series of oh shit, Pfizer, Moderna. That's crazy. Within the last 6 months. Well, okay. So now is it going to be a mandatory booster? Did we get the booster now?
It's not mandatory yet, and I was actually debating it, and then me and the wife both talked ourselves out of it because everything we read was saying Omicron, mild symptoms or whatever, and now I'm pretty sure I got it. So I think I'm good for 6 months. That being said, if my company pays me to get it done, I'll probably do it. I'll put bleach on it if they pay me to do it. Yeah.
I skimmed the last little rundown they had, and it is mandatory in Italy. You have to have your last shot has to be within the last 12 months, or else you basically are considered unvaccinated there, and you go to the leper colony hotel. So it's Italy. I want to say Israel, and I want to say the UK has something brewing for that too. So. Maybe not directly your company would mandate it,
but depending on where you go,
countries, then or be pay protected to not go to those countries, then
that's what I was going to say. That might be interesting for you, Chris. If you're not boosted, you could bid those trips and have to get bought off of them. They can't force you to get.
They don't do that. I think they said if you make one of these decisions having to do with the shots, then you are not pay protected.
Yeah.
So just drop the trip?
Drop it
without pay.
Correct, yeah.
And they may, what they're doing, drop the trip, no pay, then you can't pick anything else up because they'll block those days off.
Right, they'll put you
you got to be careful.
Status, yeah. So
you got to be careful.
One of the few times I can say it's good to be domestic right now. Just because there's so much money being thrown around too. I mean,
I don't know if you read on the forums and stuff, but people were bitching about it. So Tel Aviv, which was previously a great place to go.
Now it's like hell.
You land, a stateside test isn't good. You have to get an Israeli swab, right? If you go positive in that, they take you to an Israeli hospital until you're negative, which could be weeks. If you
can't even go back home.
Correct. You get admitted to an Israeli hospital. And
how is that legal for us?
The company hasn't stood up and said absolutely not. I guess they pay a lot for these routes. I don't know. If you're negative, then great. You go straight to the hotel and you're under that hotel quarantine deal where they just bring food to your door. So it went from being a pretty nice deal to like the worst thing ever.
A shameless plug. Wow.
Shameless.
I love it though.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Actually, I love it. Considering the involvement. I love what's happening right there.
He's thinking inside the box here. When he uploads this after having no uploads for 9 months, it's going to go viral immediately. He's just this is free advertising right here.
Tyler, how many users do you have?
We broke 1,000 last month.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Is our employer still using it?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep, they are.
Do you have to provide like tech support for it, or are they kind of self-sustaining at this point?
Oh yeah. No, we're working around the clock basically on a bunch of things. So it's sustaining it and improving it and adding to it. And to change the subject a little bit, Chris, I've been excited to talk to you because you had a little project going the past the past month. And I am going to do a screen share for this. So if you're watching or listeing, definitely you might want to go to the YouTube channel and check out
I don't know what this is about.
Chris's Instagram page.
Me either.
Chris, give us the Cliff Notes version, and then we'll just demo it for you.
Cliff Notes version is it's not my idea. I can't say I came up with it. I just noticed it somewhere, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So basically, I came across one of these, and I have them here. One of these stickers. They're meant for.
Oh, that's right.
They're meant for thermometers or medications and stuff that you put, in your bum. I think pharmacists use them. But anyway, I saw one placed somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where it was. It might have been a toilet plunger or something. I'm like, oh, that's kind of silly. I wonder where they got that. And Christmas shopping was going on, so I went on Amazon, and I'm like, you could buy 500 of these for like $4. So immediately, I bought 4 rolls of them for all my siblings, and I just kind of came up with, we should have a holiday challenge where we go into all these shopping malls and stores and just see how many things we can ruin. Try to put it in some surreptitious place, and hopefully someone buys that as a gift and doesn't notice it and brings it home and gives it to grandma.
Immediately.
Awesome.
That's is
awesome.
Quite frankly one of the funniest things.
I will admit, so I've been carrying it in my wallet. I've been trying to do it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop. Oh, no. That is, oh my gosh.
That is a great idea.
Right.
On a pump at the, what is that? A chart?
You
are here?
I was on a road trip. That's an Ohio State Turnpike map. That's some little video game machine for kids.
Oh my gosh. Soap dispenser? I think the best one was the A1 sauce. A1 bottle? Nice.
Yeah, you got to put that on your. Oh, and that's a separate project. Almost the same thing. You can buy. Oh,
you put the eyes?
You can buy 500 googly eyes for like.
Oh.
And you're just making faces?
Yeah, I put them on people's faces, right? So
I can't share this on the screen, but I'll put it up to the thing. I found this on a Delta gate. Everybody knows the famous Delta crazy redheaded chick. Somebody tagged her. Hang on, let me get it. Continue. Here we go.
Well, I don't know her.
Is this going to work?
Let's see. Yeah, I got to get a little closer. I think. That's too
bright.
bright.
Yeah, that's Haley. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
okay. Did you do that? Did you put the eyes
I did
on?
not. I wish I had the ability to claim that, but no. I just saw that as a civilian. I was traveling to a bachelor party. And I saw that. I was like, that's fucking genius.
After the rectal thing runs its course, I will pick up the googly eyes. It's a little bit more G-rated anyway, so I can probably get away with a lot more. So
Chris, how do you know that chick's name?
It's on her name tag. You can see it.
Oh, okay.
It's on her. It's on her name tag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The one that is left on your countertop.
It's in Spank Bank. Yeah.
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 First of all, Russ, why'd you look behind you as if somebody could hear you?
Hey, stop jerking off.
Not my
No.
proudest back.
Jeez. Oh wow.
So yeah, that's what's been keeping me busy. I actually, talking about work stuff, I haven't worked since the first week in November.
Good for you. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
You're
I know
on
the feeling.
waiting on OE, right?
I fell through the cracks. I did get my OE, but then I timed out on the consolidation, so now I got to go back to training again. So
That was me for like a year and like 4 months. I was that way.
Yeah,
it was great.
That's awesome.
I'm trying. I'm trying to not take it for granted. I'm trying to kind of not fall into just a lazy routine. Trying to stop and smell the roses, because this really is a great great time to be alive.
It's an opportunity, man.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I've actually been working a lot, which I rarely do. I actually pick up green slips occasionally, which I never do.
Ooh.
So
Same
thing though. That's not going to happen very often. I'm enjoying it while I can. So
Capitan Russ, congratulations on that.
Not yet. I got to finish training, which is not guaranteed.
Yeah, you still got the bid though.
Yeah,
not guaranteed.
I'm supposed to go to training in a couple months, but yeah, I mean, I could easily fuck that up. Do you know who you're talking to here?
Oh, I know. But what equipment?
Same jet, so super easy. Just right seat to left seat. Exactly. Everybody, he who will not be named in our previous squadron, just finished it. Did the exact same thing, right seat to left seat. He said the sims were unbelievably easy because they were focusing on like flying the airplane. He's like, I already know how to do that.
Okay, I got gigantic head guy.
He custom made hat.
Yeah,
and then he said OE was like a breeze, and that his first trip off of OE was a 5-day green slip. So, so I'm looking forward to
making money.
I wanted to do what you're doing, Chris. I couldn't get it. Last 2 AEs, I got pulled off of it. I had it pre-COVID. COVID hit. They took me off. I had training date and everything. And the last 3 AEs, I haven't been able to get it. I've tried. I was even going to commute to New York, to Detroit, everything. I couldn't get it.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll just stay domestic.
You're not a captain, are you, Chris?
Nope. No.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're doing the long haul stuff.
So, love the plane, love the layovers, but I've only done a handful of trips, and then I dropped dead, unqualified. So now I'm loving nothing.
Hey, I have a question, and you kind of mentioned it with green slips. The TSA numbers are really close to what they were back in 2019, and we've had a few days where they've exceeded them. But due to Omicron, there has been 30 to 50% delays and flight cancellations across the legacies. Do you think that those, let's just use a random number, say 25%, because it's a round number. Do you think that, say, 25% in flight cancellations is impacting the TSA numbers, or are they separate? Because so I guess my question is, do you think that those TSA numbers would be higher if those flight cancellations didn't happen? So even though we might be, say, 3% lower than 2019, in reality, if you fuck faces weren't getting sick, it would be, say, 10% higher than it was back then.
I think the vast majority of those people who are on the TSA numbers still get on a flight eventually. Those TSA numbers are people who go through security. Those are
security.
Board an airplane. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we cancel
it's
flights.
Near 25%. I think the last email I saw, we were the worst domestic offender, right? I think it was 6%.
Yeah.
So we can't 6% of our flights on any particular.
And so I talked to the chief pot today about this. My base alone had 300 pilots out sick over the last week. 300.
You talking to the chief pilot, your teacher's pet?
No, I had to verify my COVID status or whatever. I had to send him my test. Yeah. So and that's just one base. So you times that by every base. I mean, you're talking about 10% of the pilots called out sick. Forget about flight attendants. They call in sick when their fucking dress doesn't fit, which is every day.
So on the 26th of December, there were 16,000 delayed flights and almost 3,300. Well, I guess that's globally. So
yeah.
But it says Delta delayed 35% and canceled 7% of its flights on Sunday. blame winter weather and Omicron for the operational.
Seattle was a complete disaster. I don't know how if you guys. I have a buddy who lived out there. He said it was so bad. The airport, nobody came to work because the roads were so bad. Like they couldn't get into the parking lots. They couldn't get. They'd load an airplane, but then there'd be nobody to load bags. They'd sit on the airplane for 4 hours and they'd push off. They'd have to come back after 3 hours. He said it was a disaster. When the weather's like that, just stay home. Cancel your trip, dude.
Sorry, I guess I'm pretty unplugged from what I thought. I thought it was much lower than that. I did see, not through Delta channels on the news, I saw that 350 that turned around, that took off from Seattle for Shanghai, and then halfway there, not like just at the takeoff, halfway there, they got
what?
Because China was changing their protocols.
So while they were airborne, China said the airplane will be impounded for 72 hours. I don't know what the plan for the crew and everything else was, but that's not what Delta planned. And so the dispatchers and the pilots made a decision to make a U. So 12-hour flight, Seattle to Seattle, and a bunch of pissed off passengers.
Wow. But I mean, again, and who's on the front lines? If these airlines are getting, swacked by the public when it's not on the airline.
Yeah, I think the pilots were like, "Hey, we're gonna."
Yeah, we're cool with the 72-hour impoundment in China.
Yeah. It's like they don't understand that.
They don't put
that's not quite in the job description. I bet you some passengers are like, "Well, why didn't they do it?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, no." Would you want that? Would you want that in your career? No.
This is a good segue. What's the dumbest shit a passenger said to you when you've had a delay? We had thunderstorm delays once, and I remember this the day we were like at the gatehouse or whatever. Passenger came up to me and goes, "Why don't you just take off?" What? It's a stupid question. He's like, what? They're saying you can't take off. Why don't you just go take off? Like, I mean, it was so dumb.
Do it on the taxiway.
Well, it's dumb to us because it's our norm, though. Like,
how do you handle that, Russ? Because I know you would handle it one way with us versus
the Russ way.
Yeah. The real answer, what I said to him was just like, I actually could not contain myself a little bit. I was like, "You want me to commandeer the airplane and just take off with you on it?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I mean." Obviously the weather's good enough for you to take off. He's like, "Is it really that bad?" He's like, "What's going to happen if you take off in this?" I was like, "You're going to die in a plane crash." I actually said that.
You actually said that to him.
It's like, yeah. He's like, "Remember when planes used to crash all the time and now they never crash? That's why we're not taking off."
That's why.
It's like a summer in Atlanta. It's like a fucking apocalyptic thunderstorm. Like, no, I'm not going to go fly in that. I mean, that was what I said. In uniform, what I wanted to say was, "You're too stupid to breathe. Give me the oxygen in your lungs and stop breathing. Just die in front of me right now."
No, that's great.
No.
We were talking about. I'll probably get arrested for this when I inevitably go there. But did you know that they skipped Chi for the? They're naming all the COVID variants after Greek
what?
Right. So they got Alpha, they had Beta, and Delta was the big one. So if you follow the Greek alphabet, before Omicron comes Chi. Do you know why we didn't pick Chi?
Oh,
you do?
Tell me this is a woke thing.
It's
China.
Is it?
It's so it's spelled CHI. I'm sorry, no, so it's spelled not CHI. It's spelled XI.
Yeah. Oh, the president.
Yeah, the premier of the Communist Party in China, Xi Jinping, is spelled XI.
XI.
So they didn't want his likeness and face associated with the virus that his Institute of Virology released.
They made it. They made it happen. No.
They were able to, I don't know how, strong arm the WHO, the CDC, and us to say we're okay. We can skip Chi, because people will associate the Greek XI with Winnie the Pooh.
And yet somehow South Park managed to not get assassinated after making a whole episode talking shit about them.
It pisses me off. It's just how they just pull the wool over people's eyes and say, no, they're it's bad enough that they censor their own media to their own people. but do they do it to the entire world? And I can't believe we're letting them get away with it. So,
and the shit that drives me the most insane is when you hear like our left media, even our right media, will just parrot whatever the Chinese media is putting out. Be like, oh, we stopped COVID in China now. We have no COVID hospitalizations or whatever. And people are like, oh, yeah, I believe that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? You're listening to them? Like, whatever.
I know. So anyway, that pisses me off.
You know, there was what was a basketball player that had to come back and apologize for something that he said about China? Like
I thought it was The Rock.
John Cena.
Or no, Cena.
All he did,
He lives there in Tampa.
All he did was acknowledge that Taiwan was a country.
Yep.
Yeah.
That will get you shot over in Shanghai.
Well,
it's the
and leading
yeah.
the same thing. World Health Organization, the director of the WHO. What did he was? What was that interview at the beginning of COVID? It essentially revolved around Taiwan, and he was
Well, right when COVID.
Do you guys remember that?
They were being shot. They were being like their weapons were being rounded up, and they were in skirmishes, but they were in revolution. And then it almost seemed like COVID sort of, directed the world's attention away from that. Honestly, I got to admit, that's what I thought at first. I thought this whole thing was a diversion. Turns out it wasn't. But sorry, Tyler, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. So I just had to Google this.
Well, we're waiting.
What'd you Google?
We're
about to pee his pump.
Reading's hard.
He's breathing with his mouth open, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can see this, and if you can't, can you hear it? He likes to think deeply and longingly with his mouth open.
Smoke pouring out of his ears right now.
He is what's known as a mouth breather. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 2. What is that number?
He's got nothing for us. We'll just continue our own conversation.
Well, we'll just continue.
Yeah, just continue. I'm actually just continue. Okay.
So with Cena, he wasn't saying making a political statement.
He was
promoting a movie and just saying, hey, and they were the first to get it because of the time zone or something, right? Or it was something so benign.
Yeah.
And for him, just the fact that he had to come back and apologize. My question is what
he said something in Chinese too during that apology. He said something in Chinese.
Right. Yeah.
He he apologized in Chinese. Oh no, you can find the interview. He apologized. What a bitch.
But I wonder if that was like. Well, my question is, what worldly power or entity out there can command that?
The guy making the movie, who's like, "Hey, this is going to cost us $100 million. That's going to cost you $10 million. Go on TV and dance, monkey." And he's like, $10 million. I want to say whatever you want. How do I say it in Chinese? Yeah, he didn't give a shit. I mean, that's just
because of the Chinese market, right? It's all about
the Chinese movie market now with those superhero movies. Like, that's where they make all their money. It's 1 billion fucking people, and they eat that shit up. You know?
Oh, and it was a Marvel. It was a Marvel movie.
$30 million. They've got $1 billion.
Yeah. And like people think they're all a bunch of rice farming peasants now, but somehow they can all afford a ticket to go to the movies. It doesn't make any sense, but they're doing it.
There's a great documentary about the rise of China's economy in the last 20 years. And if you've done any traveling, which we all have, can remember when we started our career, what China was and compared to what it is now. It is amazing in 20 years how they've become a capitalist. That's a weird word. Superpower.
But yeah, they do generate a lot of wealth.
Well, how can we not call them that, dude? When you go visit and you go to the either to any of the cities, you see designer apparel, designer. You see cars, you see Teslas, you see great, nicely paved roads. You see,
but isn't it only like the top 10% can spend any money there, and everybody else is dead broke?
Right, they're capitalists in the sense that they can trade and they trade and they have commerce.
Yeah.
With countries. However, they're not capitalist in the sense that it's government control or state controlled means of production, which is textbook communism.
So they're cappy commies.
I guess they
commie cappies.
They take the what they must from capitalism, and
Yeah.
but they still keep a very strong hold on
Yeah.
the core of the economy.
Information. The information.
And they let the rich people act like
cannot be
communists
a
because they're already
self-made
rich.
man.
But
Like,
there's no middle class there.
Yeah,
there's
right.
no middle class
You must be a communist. You must get the blessing from the Chinese Communist Party or whatever their acronym is for it to be a self-made man.
Nobody's making money over there writing a book about what the wrongs of China, the communists. They've made money working within the Chinese approved system, and then they can spend that money however they want.
So from that aspect, it is a state-controlled means of production.
So Russ, you mentioned Tesla a minute ago. I want to get back to that, and I also tried to find a YouTube clip on the article that I'm gonna give you the highlights on regarding Taiwan and China, but weirdly enough, I can't find it. So maybe YouTube's in with the Chinese government. But this was from March 2020.
Was it talking about how fast my Tesla is? It's really fast. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts.
No, I want to talk about the Tesla phone is what I want to talk about. But before we get there,
it's news to me.
Phone.
This interview took place back in March 2020, and they were talking to the director of the WHO, and they were talking in regards to Taiwan's low infection rate. And the reporter asked them if they would reconsider Taiwan's membership to the WHO. He didn't respond, and then claimed he couldn't hear the question, blah, blah, blah. And then the interviewer offered to repeat the question. This guy said, no, that's okay. Let's move on to another. He's like, I've already
it's like he had a gun to his head or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So I encourage you, if you care, to try to find that YouTube video because it's fascinating. And everyone seems to forget about that. But in regards to Tesla, they're making a Tesla phone that I think is supposed to be out in 2020. And it's supposed to do a few things.
It's 2021 right now.
One,
about to be 2022. Math is hard, Tyler. You just said 2020.
What's it called? Is it Skylink? Their satellite system?
When's it coming out, Tyler? You said
2022 allegedly. Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. Dude, COVID brain, dog. I'm all hopped up on antihistamines right now.
I've got that dewormer.
Elon Musk is a G. He is fast becoming one of my heroes, and I think.
So these new phones they're supposed to mine cryptocurrency.
Oh, okay.
They're designed to mine crypto.
They literally pay for them.
And allegedly solar powered, which makes sense, but it doesn't really. They're supposed to they're going to have a lot of integrations with your Tesla vehicle, which it sounds like mobile phones already do, but it's supposed to take it to the next level.
As a Tesla owner, the phone integration of Tesla is one of the negatives. It's my wife's Honda has better phone integration than a Tesla.
Okay.
Well, then it's probably the reason why they're coming out with their own phone.
Yep. No, it's just they don't really. Their app is okay. It's not great, but like there's no CarPlay. They have to use all Tesla's proprietary shit, which sucks. Like
see,
of all the cars I've had in the last 5 years, it's the worst for phone integration, which is.
Well, they don't want integration though. They don't want to integrate your iPhone. They want their own system. Yeah. So
I think the part
you see what they're doing.
The coolest part is going to be connected to their own satellite network.
Yeah,
so you'll get service anywhere in the world.
Go ahead, Chris. You're talking about how he sold half his stock just to make some fucking nerd on Twitter shut up.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Oh yeah,
some nerds like, why did you sell your stock? He's like, all right, bitch, I will, and I'll pay $11 billion in taxes. Go ahead. What else? What else you got now? Am I not doing enough now? Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Hey, so if you want to go down a rabbit hole, I heard a theory this week that Elon Musk is the creator of Bitcoin.
Mm-mm.
Oh, he's the Matsuki, whatever.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Just go down that rabbit hole. It's a
I don't want to.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, if he came out and said that he was the owner or the creator of Bitcoin, it would probably make the price go down, I would think.
Yeah,
Which
and it'd
might
be
why
great.
he's keeping it secret,
Initially, and then it would shoot right back up.
Yes.
Yeah, but is he the guy that back in, the Silk Road when it was on, the underground, he created then? Is that what they're saying? Like Bitcoin's been around for a little bit in the shadows, right? Could he have been that guy?
He was pretty young, honestly, and he hadn't made his money yet. I mean,
yeah, like how could he have done that is what my question is, I guess.
I don't know. He, so like everybody assumes because it's Tesla that Elon Musk was the guy who built Tesla. He isn't. He bought it. He bought it from the guys who created the Tesla Roadster, and he just had
Very
money.
true.
Very true. I don't know. I find that hard to believe, but also I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I don't either. I just said it's a fun rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is.
Take that for what it is.
But I'm right there with Chris. I think it's amazing that just based on some Twitter traffic, they're like, you're not paying enough in taxes. You're like, all right, how about if I pay the most taxes anyone's ever paid in the history of the United States?
In the history of...
Oh, wait, you already did.
Will that make you feel better? Will that make you feel better if I do that? Okay. All right. Now what do you got to say? Yeah. It doesn't make a difference.
They don't understand who they're messing with.
Spend it. Well, but then he immediately just did a big Twitter tirade. He was like, the government's going to spend that in 4 days. And where's the money going to go? There's no responsibility.
You're not going to see it.
You're not going to see it. It's not going to go anywhere. That's what drives me the most crazy. All of us have worked for the government. It was like, don't give them more money. They're just going to spend it. They're not putting it in a piggy bank. They're a bunch of irresponsible kids with a credit card.
If you make the budget $6 trillion, then they'll make it $7.
Yeah.
If you give them 4, they'll make it 5. It doesn't.
At the end of the day, they have to spend the money, right? And we know that. We know that game, right? We've all been there. Where at the end of the fiscal year, the squadron group wing has, 20 grand, and the justification for buying printers or buying, you
can change that policy with one fucking policy change. You can change that.
Oh yeah, not gonna happen.
But no, it'll never happen because then
never happen.
Nobody will have any incentive. Government fucking contractors to have any incentive to sell shit to the government. It's like they have all this money they have to spend. Let's sell them some bullshit they don't need. It's
of course I do have to applaud what Joe Manchin from West Virginia, man. That was a baller move. So the way I understand it, I'm this broad strokes, but he sat down with Biden and McConnell and the other heavy hitters, and they hammered out an agreement and said he's like, all right, I'll okay it if it's 1.75 trillion or whatever the bill was. And then sure as shit, it came out at 2 trillion. And it's like, this is bait and switch. And he's the villain now because they tried to change it at the last minute and staple all the shit to the back. Like, awesome. Good for him. We need more of that.
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah.
When's the last time you heard?
Doesn't mean 2 trillion.
Seriously, when's the last time you heard any politician talk about a balanced budget?
Yeah.
Like, it's been since, we haven't had a balanced budget since Clinton, but when's the last time you even heard a politician talk about it? McCain used to talk about it a little, and now it's just like a foregone conclusion. They're just going to raise a debt ceiling every couple of years. We're just going to overspend. Inflation's not a real thing. Just print more money. And now it's coming back to fucking bite us.
Sure.
Contract negotiations is going to be interesting coming up now for all of our airlines. It's like, if you're not starting the conversation,
all inflation into it, which is
10%. Everything costs more fucking money, man. It's insane.
I spent
you guys been house shopping?
$17. And the on the smaller scale is when it hits me. $17 on 2 coffees. I was like, I'm gonna go make my own coffee now.
On the big scale.
What'd you just say, Brandon?
$17 for 2 coffees.
That reminds me of Idiocracy when they go by Starbucks. It's like, oh, can we go to Starbucks? No, we don't have time for a hand job.
Oh, that's right. What it turned into. Yeah, over the years. What a great movie.
On the big scale,
so
be fucking when COVID first started, I sold a rental property and I hung on to the cash because furlough just started, right? And I was like, I'll hang on to this cash, I'll put it in the market. It's nice to have a couple extra little bits of money in the bank.
Of course.
And then when it slows down, I'll use that money as a down payment on a nicer rental property. I wanted to buy a place on the beach short-term rental Airbnb that I could stay in like a weekend a month. That was like my
Nice.
dream. And I could
There you
afford it at the beginning of COVID. I made enough on my previous rental, just flip it into that. It was going to be a thing. But I was like, well, let's hang on. So the properties I was looking at when COVID started, like this is 2 years ago. When COVID started, it was like $500K for like a 2-2, 2-1.
Okay.
The same properties now are $800K 2 years later.
But
I'm priced out.
Is that inflation or what is that? Or is that just the
inventory
market? Is it the market
I
inventory?
would say inventory plus inflation.
How much of this? So we know that other countries come and invest in because their banking system isn't backed like ours is.
Sure.
So they back their money in buying, and I can't remember the code that they can be foreign investors buying properties here in our country. How does that affect? And we're talking folks that got money, whether these Russian oligarchs, these Saudis, they just got gobs of money. They come over here, buy the stuff, and cash. They don't have to nickel and dime like we do, and have to kind of like scrape. How does that?
You guys flying to New York? You know that Central Park North condo complex, the tallest residential in New York. It's on the north side.
Real skinny.
Beautiful. Yep.
Beautiful.
The top 4 floors are owned by one guy, a Saudi billionaire, and he paid an absurd amount of money. New York Times wrote an article about it. You can Google it. I can't remember what it was, but it was literally like the most anyone's ever paid for square footage for any residential thing times 5. He was like, "Oh, I'll just buy all of it. Just give it all of it because I have nowhere to put my money." He's like, "New York real estate always money."
So well, talking about like the Chinese,
$2 billion on real estate.
Vancouver, 5 years or so. Vancouver is predominantly Chinese now. Like they own downtown.
Yeah, so, yeah. Well, that's here too. That's here in Florida as well.
Yeah.
I noticed that when
Chinese can't
sold
ski. What are they doing in Vancouver? Fuck. They're ruining Whistler for me. God damn it. I went to Whistler 3 years ago and it was already too many Chinese there. Falling down the mountain, sitting down in the middle of the ski run, taking pictures. Like, get out of the way, you stupid motherfuckers.
I got to think they're playing the long game, and because say what you will, they've got it out. They've got an axe to grind with us. If they just start buying up property in Pacific Coast cities, eventually they'll make a case to, I don't know.
We are living in the fall of the Roman Empire. We are living in the fall of the Roman Empire. All right. So we're all fiddling over here right now, and the China fucking empire is just rising up.
They're playing the long game. So we have we fight with each other every 4 years. We change out leadership. They've had, this Communist Party long term, and they can be patient. They can just keep forking over money. Just kind of
our military's worrying about our pronouns. They're taking over the entire Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I'd be worried about that. Yeah,
next time
I go to Shanghai or Beijing, I'm gonna get picked up and held there.
Yeah. You're kind of screwed.
I would invest all your liquid assets and just buy property in the metaverse, and then you'll be able to live in a virtual world
and never take off your goggles.
You never take off your goggles, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
I spent enough money on video games as it is. I don't need to give any more money.
You guys Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically
it's coming, dog.
Yeah. It's coming.
Apple,
it is coming, man.
I think Apple just made some haptic gloves that are supposed to be pretty impressive. Or maybe with Facebook, man. I don't remember. I went down that rabbit hole too.
Well, Facebook owns that Oculus.
Yeah.
Oculus is the shit. That is really awesome.
But Facebook owns that, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So that's going to be the first vehicle they use to get into this metaverse thing. Yeah. I'm assuming, right?
There's so much money in the online space already. That's just another chip away at it. The real money is all in social media, like fucking controlling, so many people have talked about it, but they're paying to learn how humans work so they can just learn how to sell you shit.
Right. There's a reason why it's free,
Yeah, because it fucking works.
Because you're the product, not the software.
Yeah. 3 years ago, everyone was like pissed off, like, I was talking about buying a butt plug and it showed up on Amazon just randomly. Now everyone's just like, whatever, that's just part of the thing. Like people didn't stop using Amazon. People didn't
stop using use only. Get it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's the gig. That's the gig we signed up for, and
I see what you did
the way
there.
it is. And this is what the price we pay to look at these Instagram thoughts, and it's worth it. All right,
Love it.
I'm going to say it right now. It's worth it.
It is
you can
not
have
worth
my
it.
freedom. You can have everything I want to.
What is wrong with you, Russ?
22-year-old girls from Germany that I would never see otherwise shake their ass, and I'm happy. It's fine.
Well, you know what? I'm dating a few of them, and it's not fun. It's not as fun as you think.
Oh, no, date them. God, no. What are you doing?
I know. I had an issue with my self-esteem as I've gotten older, as I rounded my mid-40s. So I had to make sure I still got it. And it turns out
you got it.
Doesn't matter. as long as your wallet's a little fatter than the rest. Now, I'm not saying all women are like that, and that's not the case. But
just the ones you want to have sex with.
By and large, if you're an older dude and you're dating somebody 20 years younger, chances are it's not your looks. Now, in my case, it was because I'm fucking stunning. But
No,
yeah, but if you were driving a Civic,
if I was driving a Civic, so true.
Yeah,
so true. But I'm not. Yeah, it's amazing. So that chapter of my life is over, though. And I can't entertain it anymore. Yeah,
it was fun while it lasted.
Mm-hmm. It is quite the entertainment. You know, and more over, it's because of the difference in mentality and ideology and generationally. Sure. It's incredible how different we are. I think most of us are the four of us are within 3 years of each other. Yeah. And 20-something-year-old and the way they think and what they think is okay. And how I can't change the paradigm to match what I'm trying to be open-minded. Can't do it.
I had a thought like that. This is probably not what you're saying, but I just remember, John Madden, rest in peace. He passed away the other day.
Yeah, he did.
They had a few of his clips on and stuff from being a coach, and I was a little kid, but I have fuzzy memories of being a coach. Primarily, I remember being a telecaster, right? And then later on, I played the games too. But there's this whole generation of kids out there that only know, like, oh, he's that guy they named the video games after for some reason.
Yeah, they don't know who he was as a coach. They don't know who he was
as a software developer or something like that. Yeah, anything below Generation X, they just know him only as the
video game guy.
I'm like,
and that's a painful reality.
What a shame! Like this amazing legacy, and your Jake Coles and below are just like, oh, he's that guy that play Xbox. What's up, Jake?
But he signed up for that because he saw the paper. When you're retired, you can make money.
Oh, sure.
Doing that shit, it's like, I mean,
well, and he created a legacy with his name based off of his success on the gridiron. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Now look what Tom Brady. I mean, he's created enough of a legacy to live on in history, just what he's done on the field. But now he's got his NFTs going. He's validating his whole TB12 platform by playing well into his 40s. You know what I mean? Like,
Tyler, then like maybe kids that are born in like say 2030, and Tom Brady's still relevant in the.
He'll still be playing.
Player, he might still be playing. But if he's not, there'll be a whole generation of people out there that just know him for his apparel. And his, that guy used to play football. Like, oh, did they even have football back then?
Yeah, who's the coach? Yeah, like I was gonna say. That's exactly right. Ugh, it's disgusting.
You're not getting the NFTs, are you?
No, I'm not.
I wanna.
I refuse.
But
I've thought about it, but
why do you refuse?
I don't know.
You don't have an answer. Okay.
No. The answer is that intrinsically it has no like joy involved into it. Whereas like you could say the same thing about Bitcoin, but you can make Bitcoin money like this.
I'm getting into the platforms that NFTs and smart contracts are built upon. So the Ethereums, the Cardanos, the Solanos, Polkadots, those are what I'm investing in right now because I think that's the base layer of Web 3.0. So, I don't really care about the NFTs per se. I think there will be NFTs that will be valuable. I think a lot of people are going to lose money on some of these NFTs because they're all hype with no value.
People puts out an NFT of anything. and it sells for 10 grand.
Sure.
And
it's fine for speculation.
Nonsense.
Put my actual portfolio in it. Yeah, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. But I mean, I invest real money in crypto, but I'll never invest real money in an NFT. I just don't think there's.
Well, don't say never, right?
Just
well, clearly
not now.
there's making money.
So new.
Clearly, there's people making money on it. Clearly, there's people making money on it, but I don't think it's got a lasting business model. But I do think cryptocurrency has a lasting business model.
So,
also, I have no idea.
An NFT that I find fascinating is CryptoKitties. Are you familiar with that at all?
It's like the Beanie Babies of.
I'm not familiar.
And it's purely because I think it's stupid, but the philosophy behind it is fascinating. So they've got quote unquote generations of CryptoKitties. So generation 1, they only release like X amount of kitties, and you breed them, and then they can only breed like two generations away, and they're literally tracking like 8th generation CryptoKitty back to some like pairing in generation 1 or 2, and the
like
ones that are yes. So these 1st and 2nd generation CryptoKitties are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, whereas like the 8th and 9th generation are worth like 40 or 50. But if you get one in the right lineage, then they're, you know what I mean? So from that perspective, it fascinates me.
I just don't see in 10 years somebody opening up their wallet for a 1st generation CryptoKitty. I just don't.
But you know what? That's what they said about Beanie Babies. That's what they said about.
And the Beanie Babies are worthless.
Here's what you're missing.
People are paying for
Russ.
No, they're not.
Here's what you're missing, though, Russ.
Beanie Babies are worthless. Baseball cards are barely worth money anymore. Like they're really.
That's
there's still an audience out there.
The market was flooded in the 90s when baseball cards were popular, right? But there's still available baseball cards out there. But here's the thing: pretty soon, you're gonna have a virtual wallet with all your NFTs in it that everyone's gonna be able to see. It's gonna be like wearing a Rolex on your wrist. It's gonna be, oh, you have a fucking 1st generation CryptoKitty. Now, who cares if you have a Rolex or a 1st generation CryptoKitty? The fact is that you can quote unquote flaunt it. Me, as your friend, doesn't matter to me what you have, other than the fact that I'd be like, hey, my buddy Russ has a 1st generation CryptoKitty. You know what I mean? It's like stupid. And my Apple Watch works just as good as your Rolex, but
way better. Rolexes are terrible at keeping time. Like they were good 100 years ago. Like
why is it still a status symbol? That's the thing. All these things that we're talking about are just these things that break through somehow for some reason. They become status symbols. And we really haven't had one that's a online or a virtual status symbol, but it's coming with this NFT kind of stuff.
You're not a watch guy, Brandon? I peg you for a watch guy.
I am. I just can't afford the ones I want.
Yeah.
Not yet.
If he would sell off his fedora collection, he would have some liquid assets to buy some watches.
I don't know.
This is just one wall.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with NFTs though too, is I think that when you buy that Rolex in the future, it's going to come with an NFT. Your receipt will be an NFT.
Yep.
You're going to buy a house with NFTs. You're going to be a construction. You're going to be a home builder. You're going to sell the house as an NFT, and every time that house sells for the next 50 years, you're going to get 5 to 7% of the sale of that house.
So here's why I disagree with you. So an NFT is basically an avatar on video games. So like, are you?
That's what it is right now. That's what
an annotated avatar on your fucking video game. Are you going to spend X amount of money? The people who are spending stupid money on NFTs
Russ,
are people who money doesn't matter to. People who are like just average Joes, they aspire to own a Rolex because it has still got value to everybody around the world, even if it doesn't make any sense. Like my buddy posted a picture of his new Rolex. He put it on Signal. It's like, check out my new Rolex. And I hit the timestamp and it was off by 5 minutes. It doesn't matter because some guy in Romania will still pay. He'll still pay money for that Rolex.
With your example of selling the house, I think I might disagree with that. I'm just trying to stretch my mind to think about it. When you currently buy a house, you make this big closing appointment. You sit down with a title officer, a loan officer, and some of that stuff will be unavoidable. But to think if you could streamline that, make the entire possession of the house into the NFT, and basically you can cut all those people with their hands out.
The smart contract cuts out the middleman.
You know why, Chris, that won't happen anytime soon? Because how's the government going to get paid? all that shit. When
Well,
you buy
that
a
can
house,
that can be included in the smart contract.
all
They
that
could
shit
literally-
we do, all you guys have bought and sold houses recently, all that shit you do now, like in the area of COVID, is almost all digital, and it's like a tenth of the time it used to be. I'm like, why am I paying a title company to do a title search on this? It's just a fucking
Dude,
Google
it's
search.
stupid.
Yep.
Because somebody has to get paid at the government. It's all nonsense. It's
Oh, the
nonsense.
government's going to figure out how to get paid. They're going to figure
Mhm.
that out.
Just like they started taxing cryptocurrency. Guess who didn't claim cryptocurrency on their fucking taxes last year and just rolled the dice? Because the penalties are cheaper than anything I'm fucking withholding, so to speak. These are all allegedly. I'm telling jokes. Whoever fucking listening to FBI, but I mean, I'm going back years now, years and years and years and years. I've just been rolling the dice. And if it ever comes back to me, I can just claim fucking ignorance and pay the penalties and put the onus on them. All right, you go back 7 years to the blockchain and you figure it out. You tell me.
Burden of proof is on you.
Cases, yeah.
They're not gonna be able to figure that out.
You
My
don't pay
shit's
taxes
fucking
until
put over
you sell it
18 different.
And
Oh,
convert
I've
it back
sold
to
it.
the-
I bought and sold a lot of it, but like they're not gonna be able to figure it out.
Yeah,
Like
but
nobody over there. I
if you
can't
were to
figure it
sell
out.
the house for the NFT and not actually change any dollars or cents over it, you're right. The government would get zero. But that
That's not
NFT
gonna
that's worth, $750,000 that signifies the deed of that house would change hands instantly without a title company, without attorneys, and without Uncle Sam.
But yeah, Russ, you said you'll never own an NFT, but it's more than just
Not
pictures
never,
and
but-
it's more than just pictures and music. The potential is more than just pictures
Sure.
and music.
Well, Russ, you kind of like it was talking internet, and I think you're old enough to remember when people were talking about the internet and what they were saying. It was, oh, nobody will ever do this, nobody will ever do that,
Right.
no one's gonna ever do this,
Sure.
no one's ever gonna do that. Now I'm in a position. I'm at a point in my life after us being able to actually see this thing through, because we all remember, telephones on the wall, right, picking up with the long wire. We're able to see this evolution of something that was sublime over our lifetime, and see what it used to be, and the naysayers and what they saying this thing was going to be or wasn't going to be to what it is now. I'm in a place where I can't say anything is a bad idea anymore. I can't say like that's stupid, because there's so many things that we have seen that were stupid, quote unquote,
Yeah.
that turn into gobs of money.
Oh yeah. I mean,
What's that? Pro flight.
No,
I just said that because
no, you're absolutely right in that. I don't disagree that there's definitely people out there making huge money. I just don't see it as a lasting business model. But I do agree with crypto.
I heard that.
Concept.
Sorry,
I get what you're saying, though. I do. I remember,
But
when we were
it'll
in college-
change.
When we were in college, I had
Yeah.
a USAA account, and I was paying my bills with ACH, with electronic bill payment, and people were making fun of me. They were like,
Yeah.
that bill's going to go overdue. They don't accept
Yeah.
that. That's not a real payment." Like, fuck, it's not a real payment, you old man.
Yeah.
You want to put a check in the mail, put a stamp on it? Fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I get it.
USAA they were revolutionary if you think
They
about
were
it.
one of the first. They really were, and now they're like
They were the first to do it. Yeah,
but
now
they
they're
did.
horrible.
But they also started like Venmo, kind of. Like they started Zelle. Like they were one of the first ones.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what this thing's going to be? But I tell you what, man, it's kind of cool to live in an era where we can remember these things and be a testament
I should
to
be
all
richer
of it.
than I am.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say
dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine if we were smarter? Like, right when we were becoming of age.
I was listening to a podcast today about a kid who got into an early crypto. One, I can't even remember the name of it. He made $86 million in a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a
cashed out.
high school kid.
Yeah.
High school kid. Oh, yeah. he
These
cashed
kids are
out.
getting in on it. These kids are
Yeah.
getting in.
$86 million in a week.
Can you
Kid's a
imagine if we
teenager.
would have? So we were around. We were out of college. We were fighting the good fight over in some desert somewhere when, Facebook dropped. Can you imagine buying Facebook? Can you imagine
did.
buying?
I got in the
Okay,
the initial public offering.
that was
I was in Manus, and I put $1,000.
Oh.
I thought I was a baller in E-Trade. You had to open the
Yeah.
E-Trade account.
E-Trade. I remember that. Yeah.
I did, and it dropped like immediately, and I was down like $500, and I was like, "Fuck this!" and I dumped it.
I know, man. Who knew? Well, who
Hey,
knew?
Brandon, to what you were just saying though, right? Being in your 20s, we're actually better off because now we have liquid assets based on this point in our careers, and like we have the information at our disposal with YouTube and Google, and we've got the experience behind us to be like, oh, we've seen similar things happen, and with enough research, like you can take a quote unquote gamble and minimize the risk or mitigate the risk appropriately based on what your comfort level. And there is a lot of money to be had by not being closed-minded. For example, Russ, with the NFT thing, I think NFT is more like day trading, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to play the long game, I like the platforms that are going to be the base layer of Web 3.0. That's where I am all in because I think it's inevitable.
What is it? The what? 3.0?
Web
Yeah,
3.0.
That's what they're calling it. Yep.
That's
So,
like basically
I
crypto is reinventing like the way websites work.
blockchain. Yep.
Yeah. So like a lot of these cryptocurrencies are based on the way websites interact in this new Web 3.0. And every time somebody clicks a link, every time somebody it hooks their Wi-Fi up to this, it doesn't cost you anything, but somebody somewhere is getting paid.
Yeah.
And you're connected to that. And like, I tried to get involved. I tried to get a miner for helium, and it was sold out. And like the helium miners were like $500. And if I had been able to get in on the initial thing, just plugging it into your fucking wall and letting it hook up to your Wi-Fi, guys are making like $5,000 a month using just the amount of juice coming out of your wall. It's not like they had a Bitcoin factory, and this was early on. I mean, these are like the crypto kids that we're talking about. Like, I tried to do that. I couldn't get in.
I don't know if you guys have looked into staking some of these cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
But you can earn interest by locking up your investment for X amount of days.
Yeah, like a liquidity pool.
Yeah, that's what I do with my crypto. I have it in holdings that are paying interest just by keeping it there. But here's the thing: you're gambling. There's no FDIC approval on that. The shit, you wake up in the morning and be like, it's all gone, and you got nothing. It's like nobody you can write an email to. They're just like, oh, it's gone. You know. So I mean, it's a big gamble for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fascinating.
We normally do this. We haven't done this yet. This is fucking Furlough Friday. What's everyone drinking? This is Dallimore number 12. They're my favorite cheap single malt scotch. This is like a $70 bottle. I can drink it all day long. I love it. So it's been there in my hard times, so many times.
I just closed out a bottle of Jameson Black Barrel.
That's your go-to.
Don't you love this sound? That
I can't do it with the microphone. Yeah. I gotta get ice. I'm gonna pee. I'll get ice right back.
Yeah, I got a barrel pick. It's a Woodford Reserve Double Oak from my buddy's stash. He owns a bar. It's actually from his bar. You can buy it there. It's his barrel pick though. So he went up to Woodford. They gave him. I guess since he puts out so much, they calling all suppliers or bring them all in to do their own little barrel. So he got 2 or 3 of them or something. And I got a couple bottles of it. It's good stuff. And it's fantastic.
How's your stogie business coming, Brandon?
The launch was a month ago.
Yeah.
And it's actually doing really well, surprisingly. I guess, and I don't know how much of it is luck, how much of it is just the nature of that industry. Luck being COVID, everybody's home and they're not going out to like their local cigar joints as much. So they kind of like the idea. They're open to the idea of getting cigars through the mail.
Are you importing or distributing?
Everyday Cigar Club, but for those that are wondering.
You import or
is it on Instagram as Everyday Cigar Club?
It is Everyday Cigar Club, yeah. EverydayCigarClub.com for those of you that are wondering. No, so it's in this. They primarily do exotics. So Z is the roller, and he's the guy that Cuban guy too. Imagine that. He's the one that gets all the stuff imported, and they're exotic. So it'll be like a Moroccan wrap or something, or yeah, and it's just amazing. Completely different than what you're used to smoking. Don't get me wrong. I like a good Dominican with a Nicaraguan combination and all that, but this stuff is just different. Good smokes. So, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Can you gift a membership? Can you sign a friend up for like Cigar of the Month Club or something like that?
You can. Yeah. So what they do is so kind of a quick premise on what they do is send out 3. If you're part of the club, they send out 3 different ones, and you can just keep them or send back the ones you don't like, and then get more of the ones you do. But once it's a run, it's a run. Like they'll have 500 cigars. Once they're gone, they're gone. You won't be able to go back and get it. So, but to make room for the next flavor of the month type of thing.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun. It keeps it fresh, keeps it, Now, is it for the guy that just does Rocky Patel's, and that's it? That's all they do? Probably not. But if you're open-minded, you want a little bit more depth than your smoking experience, then yeah.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Well, hi.
How you
Is that an everyday cigar club cigar there, Russ?
It's HD.
It's a Philly blunt.
Why? It's a Phillies.
Look at it.
No, that's a Olivia Series 5. It's my go-to. I always have at least 10 of them in my humidor. It's like every other cigar I smoke is one of those. I try other shit, but I always go back to these. Creature habit.
Yeah.
But
And if you go to the website, you see my buddy on there. We call him Combat Santa. The guy's the dopest freaking old dude you'll ever meet in your life. And he's actually, so if you go to everydaycigarclub.com and go to the front, that first landing page, you'll see a dude in a hat, white beard, smoking a stogie. His name's Jeff Flournoy. Guess who he's related to?
Matt Portnoy from Dream Theater? No? Okay, never mind.
Flournoy. Yeah.
Portnoy, sorry.
So his brother is said General Flournoy that we all know and love.
Oh.
No
I
shit.
don't know, 5 years ago.
You'd be surprised how few generals I know.
Well, I only say that because he was our direct was he Africa commander at the time or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And he retired a year ago, something like that, 2 years ago. But yeah, so my buddy is his brother. So we had a laugh about that. But no, this guy's cool as hell, man. If you go through some of the pictures on the website, you get to see him in all his glory. The dude is all tatted up. So he owns a private security company, and he does hires hands to protect some big names to his names that you wouldn't even
Hollywood
think.
dudes they'd love to get those ex-spec op guys. It's like a flex. That's like their version of a Rolex.
It's a flex.
Oh,
it is. It
Navy
is.
SEAL.
Yeah. So
awesome. Good for them.
And
man.
I know some of them around town here in Florida, and every once in a while we'll go out and they like to drive around and practice basically their tactics, stuff like that, while I'll get drunk and hammered somewhere. So it's they're a lot of fun. They're good dudes. Yeah, exactly.
We're practicing right now. We're training right now.
Yeah, training. Army training. What are you drinking, Chris? Did you already say what you were drinking?
I don't even want to talk about it, man.
He's drinking tea.
I haven't
That's
had
all
a
right.
drink Thanksgiving. I'm slowing
Good.
down. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
No, I'm proud of you. That's good stuff.
Doing a dry December and maybe some time beyond that. But
Are you doing the 75 hard, a hard 75, whatever that is from
just
Frizella?
Did your significant other kind of encourage this deeply?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, so the truth comes out. You sap.
Yeah, no, I needed it. It's going okay. So
no withdrawals.
Just being home and not having any purpose and not having any, I don't go to work. I don't have anything else to do. So It was getting a little.
What was the impetus behind this? Did you like show up from the bar one night and sleep in the bottom of the stairs or something?
Without your pants? Like what? There had to have been an event. What's the inciting event?
Yes,
For
but
this?
no, I'd enjoy that. No, it was just I didn't really have a rock bottom. It kind of became a growing problem. I don't know if you guys can relate, but
No, I can. When COVID first started and I didn't work for like 4 months, and my wife was still going to work every day, she would come home from work, and I was already hammered. And at numerous times she'd be like, "What's your deal?" I'd be like, "I'm in the pool. I got half a bottle of scotch in or whatever."
yeah,
I'm like, I got paid today. Who cares? Like,
yeah.
I had a period. I had a dried out period as well. It wasn't as long as yours, but I had one. Yeah, so I can relate. My old lady was like, "Hey, I need you not to be a drunk booze bag every day I come home from work." Like, why?
Hey, we all make choices in life.
Right.
Yeah, this is the dream right now. I'm living the dream.
Yeah, it's not a forever thing for me, but it's for a hiatus, I guess. I haven't done the end point yet.
Are you coming to Nate's retirement next week?
Is he still having it? Isn't he sick?
Oh yeah.
Is he better?
Yeah, he's recovered.
Okay.
I didn't even know. He get the Rona?
Yeah, he had it last week.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then good. He's all healed up, ready for his retirement.
Yep.
So we'll see. We've got some hockey stuff going on with the boys, so I'll have to see what I can get out of.
Has that not drinking affected you like in a good way? Like,
I would. I mean, yeah.
Do you notice?
Positive. I wish I could say it's been like a metamorphosis that I've dropped, 15 pounds and put on a bunch of muscle. It's not that dramatic, but I sleep a lot better. I think a lot better.
So I took 2 months off during my deployment.
Yeah.
And I lost a bunch of weight. I was deployed. So I was working out every day and I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And my sleep actually was not any better, but I was deployed, so who knows? But I mean, when I came back and I started drinking again, I was like almost like not looking forward to it. I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be healthy all the time.
That's exactly it. I think I know once I start back up again, it'll slowly accelerate again. So I'm not ready to start just yet, but it'll happen. And I'm not sure, Tyler. I think we've got some hockey stuff that weekend, but I don't know the days. So if I can get away for that day, then I will. Yeah.
Okay, it's next Saturday.
Okay.
You're
not going to drink. Don't come.
I'm not kidding. Well, I don't know.
Well, if he does drink, it'll be epic, and I want to be there.
Right. I'll be a cheap date. I know. It's really spiked my cocaine cost, though. Like I'm
cocaine's a hell of a
money on
drug.
booze, but man, it's just going to your nose.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Stupid.
Yeah. I'd like to
funny.
do something else, but that's the only thing that gets out of my system in time for me to go back to work.
That's not true.
Meanwhile, you're gonna get 8 random tests in the next.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, can you come in now?
So I've been making a conscious effort to try to stay out of the bar in particular. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that I don't drink at home.
Yeah.
But as a byproduct of that, diving into as many, like shows or whatever, and I came across an Apple Plus TV show the other day called The Line. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
Right. I'll make
Who is that Navy SEAL? I want to say like circa 2016 or 2017 that was accused by his subordinates for killing an ISIS guy. It's a 4-part series on that scenario. And I was knowing Apple. I was concerned about the political angle they would put on it. I think for the most part they were very fair on it, and it was fascinating because there is a lot behind the story that we may not have heard about. And
Eddie Gallagher,
it was very worth the 4 hours.
Okay.
He was acquitted, right?
He was. Yep. But watch it. And so, like, we've all watched documentaries, right? Like, Making a Murderer, and, like, you're like, oh, that guy, and he got screwed, blah, blah. But when you hear the other side of the story, well, maybe he didn't get screwed. You know, like, a documentary can make anybody look like anything.
Yeah.
It's really easy to edit shit.
Yeah.
So I take most documentaries with a grain of salt. But it was definitely interesting, to say the least. You know, so
worth a look for sure.
Yep.
Speaking of Navy SEALs, I ran into our favorite one-eyed pirate in New York the other day.
Yeah.
And, he told me a fucking insane, heartbreaking story. You guys hear that story about that Navy SEAL commander who died recently?
On that fast road?
Yeah. So that was BMAC's best friend.
What happened?
Yeah. He told me the whole thing. I sat down with him for like an hour and bullshit with him. The guy is like an 05, and you know they're not doing operator shit that much when you're that age, but they're doing a training exercise, and he was just like, hey, I want to go hanging out with the boys and go fuck off. And long story short, he was second to last out of the helo, and the guy ahead of him was like, hey, it's my turn. And he was like, no, I'm going to go. And then he hooked up to the winch. Like they have a tension winch, right?
Yeah.
Like, thing. And it's supposed to adjust your weight and all that stuff. Long story short, it just failed. Just government product, just failed. And
wow.
It could have been the fucking two-striper ahead of him who went, and he went, and he just fell 80 feet to his death. And BMAC was like really close to the guy, and he didn't die right away. He went to the hospital. His whole family was there, and like it was a big thing. And his whole thing was that he tried to get time off of work to go to this guy's funeral. He's like, he's a close family friend, and work was like, he's not family. You can't get time off. He was like, I want to drop this trip then. Like, you can't drop the trip. Yeah, he was torn up about it. I talked to him about it for a while, but like,
why can't he drop the trip? Because he mentioned it.
No, he can't drop the trip because there was no coverage, right? So he was not able to drop during regular means, and it's not a family member. So they're like,
wasn't a bereavement.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, man. It's pretty shitty. And like, the thing that's so fucked up about it is the guy he did not need to be there at all. He was just doing it to be like one of the boys, and I don't know. He had like a long career in the teams, doing all kinds of shit. He'd been through a lot of shit. I mean, you spend that much time in the special operations community. How many times he's been deployed? How much crazy shit he's seen to survive all that, and then die in a train accident.
Training, yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
Like, that would be like one of us dying in a KC-135 accident at work. Oh, wait a minute. That could easily happen to me next week. Yeah.
I was going to say, you guys are still flying that.
Don't even joke, dog. Don't even
That's
joke.
more likely, and I'm not even in
Yeah, don't. Because, yeesh.
I got 18 more months till I can retire.
So you're not going to stick around for the KC-46?
Are they getting it over there or what?
Yeah, I heard the site survey is not even going to be complete until the end of like 2022, and then I don't know how long the process takes after that. But
there might be a real airplane on the base in like 3-4 years.
Yeah. And I'm sure the people on the 63rd will be the last to go to Altus. You know.
Yeah. I'll be long gone before that.
But by then, Airbus will be like mass producing autonomous air refuelers by then.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm counting the days so I can retire, man. You guys have all beat me to the punch on that, Chris especially.
I'm still in. I'm going.
I know, but you're not touching an airplane that's run by a government organization. Like every time I get in that fucking thing, I mean, luckily we have a sim on base, so I mean, I touch the airplane once a quarter, basically, and even that is too much. Every time I'm in it, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not dying.
It's scary. Dude, it's scary. It really is.
I made this canceled the other day. And like everybody wanted to leave for. There's a bunch of young kids on there. They want to go, and I'm like, not with me, guys. This thing is fucking not working, and I am not flying it. Find somebody else.
It's crazy how these young kids are willing to go. You know, not without the
I did
experience.
it. I did it when I was a co-pilot.
I was going to say we did it. Yeah,
I did it. I took jets in the desert, fucking flying out with some guy, be like, "Oh, it's fine, don't worry about it." And you get up there, and it was a problem. And be like, "Whatever, it's worth
it was a problem." It was a misunderstanding afoot.
But yeah, crazy that the difference in the forms. There's lots of other things, but you walk into the forms of an airline plane, and if there's one write-up that's surprising, you're like, oh, there's a write-up in this.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
And you pull it, and it's usually pretty straightforward. It would be not uncommon to walk up to the forms of the 135 and see
10 pages.
10 pages of each page holds 3 or 4. I can't remember. 6.
Yeah.
I forget what they used to look
Doesn't
like.
matter. Too many.
Yeah. So it would take you a good 15 minutes to read through all the ailments.
Yep.
And that was normal.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah, have you officially retired? Are you still IRR or what are you doing?
Me?
Yeah. No, I thought you had like a side IRR thing, or you're totally out.
Oh, I've been out for a couple of years now. Yeah.
Okay.
And then even before that, I was pretty much out.
Well,
5 years. 5 years before that.
He's been out since 2012.
At least.
well, let's be honest. I am
least.
too. I mean, I do this much, and I still get paid somehow. But in fact, I got a bonus.
Don't get me wrong.
48 hours, but
for those of you out there that are interested in a career in the military, don't get me wrong. This was a great place to start, and our job was amazing. We had a lot of good times. Yeah, it was good. Even during wartime, granted, we started our career with this whole thing popping off in 01, but I think I was 99. But still, it's
Chris,
crazy over the years.
Me and you had this conversation a little while back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have been talking people out of joining the military now. People who want to become pilots and stuff like that. People ask me to talk to their kids and stuff like that. You're still doing the recruitment gig. Are you actively telling people it's a bad idea to do something else?
I probably shouldn't comment on that. I'm not as honest as I could be. But
I don't think I would talk people out of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
It's still a good pathway.
It's a good place to start, man.
You need to see what it's like in the squadron right now. These fucking new co-pilots are jumping over each other trying to get hours. They all they get hired onto full-time gigs and they quit because Envoy's giving them $40,000 hiring bonuses and giving them ATPs.
But we're about to start a nuclear war with Russia. So
you get a lot of hours when the world's coming to an end, right? Yeah. Fly through that mushroom cloud. Nobody's getting hours right now, and those kids all want jobs. We can't keep our young kids in the squadron.
If somebody gets hired today, they're 3 years from joining the squadron. It's a different Air Force then, so it's hard to say that they're going to have the same pathway. And regardless, they're still going to get to the point where. I don't know. I would not discourage somebody from going through it. There's still a lot of bullshit, but it's better money than flying regionals for that period of time.
Not anymore. It's not, dude. These regional kids are getting paid real money, and they're getting picked up by majors within, as soon as they hit their minimums.
You still have to flight instruct until you're at 1,500 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't take them that long.
Unless you're military trained.
Do you know how long it'll take to get 750 hours in the military right now?
So maybe you get military trained and then you flight instruct for 2 years while doing military duty. You're still getting. I don't know. I can't say that I would discourage somebody from joining the military.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm in our unit right now. The old unit you guys all left. All of our young kids are leaving to go to jobs that are paying more and made them fly more. They're all leaving. All of them. We have very few full-time young kids. They're all leaving because they hang around the squadron. They hang around the squadron for a year and they get 50 hours.
Yep.
I'm not kidding. 50.
Wow.
50.
Yep. And they can't deploy because there's no deployment opportunities with active duty.
What a concept. You remember we were begging to get off deployments back in the day? These kids are begging to get on them. I never had to see that. Oh my God.
Is that where we're at now there? Holy cow.
Dude, the reservists will go over to the active duty squadron with a bottle of scotch. Like, who wants to get off their deployment?
Oh, no. That's no. I can't condone that. That's absolutely
real insane.
Nuts. No way.
That's real.
I'll be damned if we go over there and give active duty booze to do anything. You kidding me?
This is the horses.
I wouldn't put them out. Wouldn't douse them out. There's no way. Come on.
What?
I know. I'm just flustered a little bit with what Russ just said. I can't.
I wouldn't lie to you, sir. I wouldn't lie to you.
That's just unheard of.
Biting.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like me and
Not your father's sack.
we deployed like when we were young. We were jumping on active duty trips though. You know, me and Josh came over and
True.
flew with you guys. You know,
True, but it's because like you were trying to get a good deal. It wasn't because you didn't know you were going to deploy.
right.
Eventually,
We
this
picked,
makes more sense
we
for my
picked
time.
when we
frame.
wanted to go,
Right.
where we wanted to go.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to go over Christmas. I'll go this period. These kids are
Yeah.
like, I'll go whenever. What do I have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you got to deploy with me, Tyler. I mean, what more could you ask for? You know.
I did not get to deploy with you. I mean,
Well, you got to
same
fly with
time
me.
frame.
Yeah, we flew a couple missions together.
Yeah.
Me and Josh got to do a whole deployment, and then he left a couple days early, and I got to fly with you. I don't remember how that worked. I know I flew with you at least a couple times.
Yeah, I don't remember how it worked out either, but I know that I flew with another individual because Josh didn't pass his PT test, so he got to fly with you because of the timing situation.
How much
So
did you enjoy that deployment, Tyler?
We'll just leave that as it is.
Right,
I love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
couldn't hold out the bladder any longer.
I also peed out of my dick.
I like pain, so I'm gonna let it sit a little bit.
I can't. I'm too old.
You guys didn't put plastic on the floor for this podcast?
Just fills up in your balls. Yeah.
That's not pee, Chris.
That's how.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's how I understand the anatomy works. Yep.
that's definitely how anatomy works now. You're a genius.
All right. I should get going. Actually, we've run.
Yep. We're 136 into this, so
We've run its course.
Distill it to some useful content.
yep. Furlough Friday
Absolutely.
40s in the books, boys.
We'll bring 40s next time once I'm back on the sauce. Yeah.
I love
Oh,
it.
wait. I want to go back to the 40 comment before we turn this off.
Sure.
I was at a bachelor party in October, and we were in Tennessee. We did a distillery tour in Tennessee. We went to all the good whiskey spots there. It was awesome.
Well done, sir.
So anyway, we ended up in Knoxville one night, and we were at some relatively famous place there for dinner. And their claim to fame was that you can order 40s off the menu. I'm there with like a whole bunch of 40-year-old drunks, and we're all like, let's do whatever 40 hands, right? Like, haven't done it since we were in college. Let me tell you something. When you did 2 40s taped to your hands in college and you finished them, you were shithoused, right? You couldn't fucking stand up. All of us crushed 2 40s, and we were like, all right, so I guess we're going to start drinking scotch. We're going to the strip club now. Everybody was totally fine. Nobody was sloppy at all.
Was it
at all?
Beer?
Oh yeah. It was Schlitz. It was Mickey's.
Schlitz and
yeah.
Colt 45.
Nobody was wasted at all. And like people were pre-gaming beforehand too. We were just like, hey, can I take these off my hand now? Like it was. We were like, man.
Yeah,
we are not in our 20s anymore. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. It's like I remember I would piss my pants doing this in my 20s. Now I'm like, I would like scotch now, please.
If I was in on it with you in November, it would have been no problem either. And that was probably one of the symptoms that I was kind of going a little too far. Yeah.
Well,
you're gonna make me go dry, Chris.
Once man rock bottom is another man's mountaintop. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, random question unassociated with what you just said. So this platform allows us to go live on YouTube.
Yeah, I see that.
Would you guys have any interest in doing a live broadcast sometime?
Sure. It'll get shut down immediately.
Yeah.
Like it'll get turned off. But
well, there's gonna have to be some ground rules, of course.
Right. Okay.
I think we're live now. If somebody chimed in, it said I got a little live window up there.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it says live.
I think that just means he's recording.
Yeah, I just mean it's recording. This I'm in record only mode.
Ah, got it.
Yeah, no issues.
yeah.
Love
Good
it.
shit, guys.
Cheers.
See you then. All right,
See ya.
brother. See ya.